Hello, everyone. Welcome back to World Hoppers, collaborative channel where we talk all things mostly fantasy, but just books in general. And all of the proceeds from ad revenue and merch sales goes to charity. And we are here today to talk about our most anticipated releases for the first half of the year, even though we are already well into February. It's fine. We're a little late in the game. Not a big deal. And I wanted to start with this question or discussion, I guess, of like how selective are we with anticipated releases? Because I'll start with when I first joined BookTube, I feel like I was just loosey goosey with it. And like I have like an official list of ones that like, because obviously we're always adding things to our TBR. I think like it's just a constant. Oh yeah, that sounds cool. But like ones that I really wanted to like pay attention to and like really try to read in that year that they were coming out, and I would just add everything. I would have a list of like 50, 60 books, and it was just very overwhelming, and I certainly couldn't keep up with it. So now I'm a little more selective, and like what I put on my official list on my spreadsheet, I try to keep to only the books that I actually see myself like trying to get a NetGalley arc and like reading this year, and just be a little bit more chill with it, I guess. So, Ingrid, how about you?
I think I'm the same way that you are. I used to try to put everything under the sun, and then I would make videos and not end up like reading any of it. So I have definitely become a lot more selective for sure. Like for the month of January, I only have one book.
Nice. You're very selective then.
Yeah.
Uh, for me, I'm not really good at keeping up with these anticipated releases at all. Like, I'm looking at the list that I have, and I'm like, I don't even remember adding half of these. Like, I've never even heard of these. I guess at some point I must have just like clicked the button to add them. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, like I'm trying to keep a spreadsheet. I haven't started it yet. It's like on my goals to keep a spreadsheet. So for now, I'm just doing Goodreads,
Yeah.
and like I I'm not really good with, adding sequels to my, list because 'cause I'm
Yeah,
like,
like keeping up with
I
those.
just know they're there, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't officially add it to, like, my TBR list. So yeah, my way of doing this is just, like, all over the place.
Just
There's
chaos.
no
Extremes.
rhyme or rhythm to it.
And that's fine, I think that's fine. Yeah, because some people, it doesn't bother them, I don't think, to like have this daunting list. Like they're like, whatever. But yeah, for me, it just would
Yeah.
like stress me out. Or I'm like, I can't. So I gotta keep it under wraps. But all right, cool. And yeah, obviously everyone can let us know in the comments how selective you are or not. But starting with going back in time to January, what was our most anticipated for January? I mean, Ingrid, you said you just have the one. So what was it?
I think you can guess. It was House of Sky and Breath
Oh,
by
I
Sarah J.
legit
Maas.
forgot that that came out in January.
Wait,
It
that
sure
came out
did.
wait,
Yeah,
wait, what
January
year are
20th.
we?
No, not House of Sky and Breath, I'm
Flame and
sorry, House
Shadow.
of
That
Flame and
didn't matter. That
Shadow.
was fine.
'Cause I'm like, "Did that come
Yeah,
out
you
last
did.
year?"
Yeah, yeah.
You're
My
like,
brain just
"You're in
corrected
the wrong
automatically,
year,
didn't it?
madam."
That's funny.
But yeah, I it
That
was
one.
definitely it was one of those that I was, like, anticipating it, but also dreading it at the same time
Yeah.
because, me and Roger, like, decided we were gonna read it, but well, just Shauna knows this, but I hated House of Sky and Breath. I thought it was a terrible sequel to the first book, which I liked, so,
Yeah. Same.
I was gonna read it just to kind of finish out the series, but I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about it,
Yeah.
but I am happy to report that I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was such a good ending, like, especially because of how much I hated the second book. I didn't think it was
There's
gonna actually
only
be good, you know what I
improvement.
mean?
You can only go up from
Yeah,
there.
Yes, I mean,
Deshanna's 1
if you
hour
go into it with, like,
Yeah.
House of Sky and Breath,
Deshanna's
yeah,
1
like,
hour,
that was
rant video
Oh,
is,
yeah,
like,
of
one of
House
my
of Sky and
comfort
Breath.
videos.
Yeah, I don't know that
it
I'm
was
gonna ever
terrible, it
pick
really
up
was.
Flame and Shadow. I don't know. I've seen a lot of
Dude,
people being, like,
I
pleasantly
know that you
surprised with
don't
it.
want to, but do it.
Uh,
I know. I
we'll
know you don't
see.
want to, but I think you should do it.
I might sometime get it from the library or something. I ain't buying it,
Yeah.
that's for dang sure. Oh, Lord. How about you, Christy, for January? What was your
So
most?
my most anticipated, and this is also one of my most anticipated of the year, was the second Emily Wilde book, Map of the
Mhm.
Otherlands, because I loved the first book, and I did read the second book when it came out, and I also loved it.
Yeah.
Not as much as I enjoyed the first one, because I just feel like when I first read the first one, I was just like so charmed by it, and then the second one is kind of like the same vibe, so I was just like, okay, more of the
Yeah.
same, but it was still really good.
Nice. Good deal. That's always a happy feeling, liking the sequel. My most anticipated for January was Feybound by Sada El Arifi,
Oh yeah.
just because I love the Ending Fire trilogy so much. Like, so much. I was like, heck yeah, another series. And I did like it. I read it and I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as the other series of hers. Definitely not like 5 stars, but I think I gave it a solid 4 stars. I'm pretty sure. It was one of those books that like there wasn't any one particular element that I was obsessed with. But there was a couple elements I was like, that's kind of annoying me or whatever. But overall, it was just like, yeah, it's cool. It's a good time. The characters, the plot, the world was all like generally positive for me. So
So I just realized all three of our books have something to do with Fae.
yeah, they did. There's a theme here for January, apparently. That's funny. Okay, how about February? Ingrid, what you got for that?
Let me pull my reading tracker list. Hold on. All right. For February, I have definitely An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. That already came out February 13th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I have not read it before, but it's by the same author of A Dowry in Blood.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know anything about it. All I know is that it still has to do with vampires, and I think it's sapphic. And I think it's like sort of dark academia, which I'm excited. I'm slightly like wary going into it. I did see that Bethany read it, and I think she didn't like it as much as A Dowry in Blood. So now I'm like, oh, I wonder if I'm gonna like it, but I'm still excited for it.
Is that one like
And I
a
did get it.
sequel or a companion?
It's in the
No.
same world. It is in the same
Yes.
world, and there is a character that we
Oh,
see.
is there?
Yes.
Did
From
you already
Dowry
read
of
it?
Blood. Yes, I did, and I really liked
Oh.
it. Yes.
Oh, see,
I
I
didn't like
didn't
it
know
as
that.
much
I
as
thought it
Dowry of
wasn't
Blood
like
either, but I think that's because Dowry of Blood has the like element that was like, I don't know, very relatable to me of like the abuse, the abusive relationship. And this one doesn't like so much have, it still has like a toxic like kind of dynamic going on in some way without saying too much. Very much dark academia, which I don't usually like, but
Okay.
the writing, I love it. It was so very like gothic, moody, atmospheric, and I just kind of ate it up. So not 5 stars.
Still
Oh, so
gotta
you
read
did like
that.
it. I'm glad.
Yeah, I liked it.
Did you read the Dowry in Blood already or no?
Oh,
Christy.
I have not read that.
No.
So
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
like
okay.
one of my like top of TBR kind of books, but I keep forgetting about it until I hear someone else like bring it up. And I'm like, right, I gotta
Oh,
read
yeah.
that still.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really good.
Very, very good.
Let me see what else. What else do I have for February? I have a Fate Inked in Blood, which I think it is fantasy by Danielle L. Jensen, and I think she's
Oh,
written
yeah.
another series that
Yeah, the
a lot of
Bridge
people like.
Kingdom.
Bridge
Yeah.
Kingdom, yes.
Yeah,
And I think this is a new series.
yeah, I think it is.
But I don't really know too much about it either, but I did see on Goodreads and I was kind of interested in it. But yeah, that's the reason I picked it up is because so many people liked A Bridge Kingdom, and I actually didn't. I tried reading it and I never finished it, so I DNF'd that one. But this one actually sounds interesting according to Goodreads, so we will see.
Time will tell.
I feel like she's one of the more popular kind of romantasy authors.
Yeah.
So I actually have that one on my list too, but I'm like,
Oh,
we'll see
cool.
how it goes because I'm like, I'm trying to read romantasy and I'm still trying to find one that I like.
Yeah.
Have you read many or no?
It's not been very successful. Yeah, like I read what's it called? Serpent and the Wings of Night. I DNF'd that one at like 70% because I was just like, I cannot do it anymore.
I give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my most anticipated for February is What Feast at Night by T. Kingfisher. That's the sequel
Oh,
to What Moves the Dead,
Mhm.
which is
okay.
one of
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
favorite horrors.
I
Oh,
have
cool.
only read the one T. Kingfisher, The Nettle and
Nettle and
Bone.
Bone.
Yeah.
That one's good
I,
And she
too.
didn't
I
like
love
it.
T. Kingfisher.
I liked it. I just didn't. I was like, that's cool. Like, I didn't feel very strongly about it, and I wasn't very prompted to like pick up more. I was like, that's cool. I guess.
Mhm.
I think we talked about that before, right? You're like, her writing style is like,
Yeah,
okay.
it was fine. It just didn't do much for me.
But yeah, it's definitely like her distinct writing style that like permeates through all her work.
Yeah. Nice. My most anticipated for February was probably, An Education in Malice. And yes, I really, really liked it. I don't remember what I rated it. What did I rate it? 4.5. So
Nice.
pretty dang high for me.
Mhm.
Especially I feel like being like dark academia, because usually I'm like, ugh, I can't stand it. But I just don't like dark academia when it's like pretentious, rich Ivy League kids doing stuff. I don't care. Like, and they're like being very pretentious in the story and stuff. Like, it just, I hate it so much, but not all of it is like that. So this one is not. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I was very confused going into it because I saw that it was like Dowry of Blood #2, and I'm like, what? And then it's literally just kind of like in the same world. And again, there is
But
a
it's
character.
a whole like characters are different, right?
All the main characters. There is a character from
Mhm.
Dowry of Blood that you see in a couple of scenes, like more towards the end, but they're very much
Okay.
like background, like not a huge part of anything. But I was
I
very excited.
see.
I'm like, oh, wait a minute. As soon as I like thought I knew who it was, and then once I knew, yeah. Anyway, okay, March. Moving on to March. Now we're going
Moving on
into the
to
future.
March. I know,
What do you
finally,
have?
right?
I only have
Um,
I only had 2 for February. I have 4 total for March, but
I know. I also have a bunch for March too.
yeah.
I'm the opposite. I had like so many for February, and I only have 2 for March.
I have first I have one. The name is called Thirst by Marina Yus. I'm not even gonna know how to spell that. Yuskuz or say it. This is a translated novel, and I'm guessing it's Argentinian because it's set in Argentina, but don't quote me because it doesn't say like where it's translated from. But it's about a vampire that moves from Europe to Buenos Aires and is kind of
Mm,
trying to like find herself, I'm guessing. Um,
I've never heard of
it
this.
sounds just super interesting. It's like kind of gothic and I'm really, really kind of into it. And it's like it says it's exploring feminism and female agency and stuff like that. And it
Ooh,
just sounded really interesting.
that does sound
That's
interesting. I've
a
not heard of this.
racy cover.
Isn't
Is it?
it?
What's the
I
name?
kind of like the cover. Thirst by Marina Yuzuk, I think is how you
Yep.
say her name.
I see it. Oh, interesting.
Oh,
I'm curious
queer
now.
gothic vampires. Those are like checking all my boxes.
Yeah.
I know, for me too, girl, me too.
I'm gonna add it to my
Um,
list.
I'm adding it.
Talking about being all discerning with what I'm picking.
You're like, "Ooh, that sounds fun."
Yeah. That does sound really good though. Genuinely.
It does, it does.
Yeah.
And then I also have one that's, sort of, I think, kind of, it's literally fiction, but also science fiction. It's called Annie-Bot by Sierra Greer, and like, just a little tiny blurb. It says, "A powerful, provocative novel about the relationship between a female robot and her human owner, exploring questions of intimacy, power, autonomy, and control." So I'm guessing it's kinda
How do
like
you
this robot is like AI,
Yeah.
how do you
but it's
spell that
also
one?
kinda like Annie Bot. Like Annie, the
The
name
word?
Annie, and then Bot.
Oh, okay.
Interessante.
Mhm. Yeah, that one also kinda, like, seems like something I would like to read because 'cause I'm guessing it also kinda explores, like, female agency and stuff even though she's just a robot, but still,
Yeah.
if, she's intelligent, you know?
Yeah. Definitely
I
sounds
feel like this is the
What
kind of book if I read the synopsis and I'm like, it's a male author name, I'm like, no thanks. But it's like if
I
I'm a
know,
female
right?
author, I might have a bit more interest
Yeah,
in that.
right.
Sorry not to
Because
go
yeah, I
there,
mean,
but
No, it's a valid assessment to have to make and hesitation to have. I
um,
think.
and then I'll
What
say one
author?
more and I'll let you guys go.
Yeah.
Next up is Baby X by Kira Peikoff or Kyra Peikoff. I'm not sure how to say that, but it's basically, I thought the synopsis of this was really interesting. It's set in the future, it's like sci-fi, but like you can create babies based on like DNA solely. And so celebrity DNAs keep getting stolen. And now celebrities have all this
What?
like random babies out in the world. But it's
that
also a
sounds
thriller.
wild.
It
Oh,
does sound
thriller?
wild, doesn't it? I was like, what
Yeah,
is it?
I was gonna guess that was a thriller. It just sounded like
Yeah.
thriller vibes.
But yeah, I do want to read that too because I'm like, sci-fi, it's kind of different. So
Yeah,
those are my three.
I feel
cool.
like I've been seeing more sci-fi thrillers lately.
I know. I mean,
I don't
I feel
know.
like it's interesting.
I don't know if they were just like I just never noticed them, but like lately I've just been
Mhm.
hearing like
Seen
sci-fi
them
is
everywhere.
also a thriller.
Fun. How about yours, Christy?
Okay, so this is like the ones that I don't even remember adding to my list. So I'm like, I have no idea what this is about. The Emperor and the Endless Palace
Oh,
by
I had that
Justinian
one.
Wong.
Yep, I had that on my list too. It sounds like it's
Oh,
like
nice.
fantasy, kind of contemporary with time travel, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
That's
okay. I'm like,
I remember that's the
I
one.
don't even. I'm like, oh, learning about what it's like from you, even though it's on my own anticipated list.
That's what
But
I
the
recall. Yeah.
Yeah, it says, what if I told you that the feeling we call love is actually the feeling of metaphysical recognition when your
Yeah.
soul remembers someone from a previous life? And okay, I'm intrigued all over
Yeah,
again. It
that's
sounds like
hilarious.
Mhm.
reincarnation
Yeah.
Yeah.
almost. Um, yeah, and I love like like Asian fantasies are really having a moment right now,
Yeah.
and
The
I love
cover
it.
of that is so pretty. Oh my God.
Yes,
Of that
so
one. That's why
vibrant.
I saw it on NetGalley and I was like, that's cool. And then read it and I was like, oh, that sounds fun. Interessante. Do you have another one or was that your only one?
This other one I added because Elle mentioned it in her video, but I don't know too much about like the author. But it's called A Botanical Daughter, and it says Mexican Gothic meets the Lie Tree. I don't know what that is.
I don't
By
either.
way of Oscar Wilde and Mary Shelley in this delightfully witty horror debut, a captivating tale of
Hmm.
two Victorian gentlemen hiding their relationship away in a botanical garden who embark on a Frankenstein style experiment with unexpected consequences. And
Oh,
I think it's like got like plant horror, um, something about making someone out of plants or something like that.
interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard of that one at all. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Sounds fun. Yeah, I had a few for March, but the one that I was most anticipating, I actually also read this already from NetGalley, and I
Mhm.
didn't love it. And that is Dead Cattail Assassins by P. Jelly Clark.
Oh.
Yeah, I was
Is
like,
that one a March release?
that's what I had it on. Did it change? Maybe it
Because
changed.
I
That happens to me a
remember I
lot.
had it on my list too,
Yeah,
but
that
I
happens to me
think
a lot where the
Goodreads says August now.
oh dang. Well, okay. Apparently
Mhm.
it changed. But I read it already because I thought it was coming out in March. But yeah, I didn't love it. Like it was fine. It was cool, but I mean, it's like I don't know if it's technically a novella, but it's definitely short. Like it's not like you're what we're used to with fantasy reading, like full length novels. Like it's under 300 pages. I want to say it's like 200 pages or something, maybe even less. Um, which is P. Jelly Clark does a lot of novellas, and novellas are very hit or miss for me. Like I loved Ring Shout by the same author, like 5 stars, but yeah, this one I just didn't get very connected with the characters. Was the biggest problem for me, and it was like kind of too action heavy, like in the plot, like and for being so short, it was just like a lot of like fight, and just not my jam. So that was kind of a bummer. Another one that I'm like would probably be my next most anticipated now that I've started reading it for March is another NetGalley e-arc of Cascade Failure by L.M. Sagas. And it's a debut. And it says it's a highly commercial sci-fi adventure blending J.S. Dew's Divide series with the commercial fan appeal of The Expanse and the cozy SF of Becky Chambers. It features a fierce, messy, chaotic space fam, vibrant worlds, and an exploration of the many ways to be and not to be human. And yeah, I started it and I'm like 30% in. And I'm quite enjoying it, which is weird because sci-fi space adventures is usually not not it for me.
Not your cup of tea.
Yeah, and
I really like the cover of this.
yeah, it's cool. It's a cool cover.
It
And
like
yeah, there's like
reminds me of those like old sci-fi anime style.
yeah, it's really neat. But yeah, so I'm enjoying that one. So now that one's probably like higher on the list. All right, so coming into April, I was like, do I even have any? I do have a few. So, but go ahead, Ingrid.
All right. For April, I have The Familiar by Lee Bardugo. And this, I think, will be my last chance that I give her because I've liked her earlier series. Like I liked the Shadow and Bone series and the spin-off, which I forget the name of. Someone help me. What is it called?
Six of
Scars?
Crows?
Yeah, Six of Crows.
Oh, Six of Crows. And also
Yes,
King of
I
Stars
like.
with another spin-off
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't read that yet. I do have it, but I haven't read it. But I like that. And then I tried her most recent
Nice
series,
House?
which I didn't enjoy. Yeah, at all. Like I didn't like it at all. So I was like, oh man. So I'm gonna try this one. It does sound interesting. It's more of like historical fantasy and set in Spain, like during the Spanish Golden Age. And basically, I think our main character she's kind of like a peasant. Like she works for someone's in their house, and then they find out that she can do magic. And somehow she gets entangled with the king, and kind of like the king using her for her magic and stuff like that. It just says that determined to seize this one chance to better her fortunes, Lucia plunges into a world of seers and alchemists, holy men, and hucksters, where the line between magic, science, and fraud is never certain. So it sounds interesting. I'm hoping it's good, but again, not super high hopes because I didn't like her last series. And then I have The Black Girl Survives in this one, and it's a collection of short stories and it's horror. And basically, it just says, "Be warned, dear reader, the Black Girl survives in this one." So it just sounds really interesting. It's a bunch of known like authors that wrote the short stories, and I kind of want to read it.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, and then I have one more which I thought like sounded really quirky. And the name of the book is Bless Your Heart by Lindy Ryan. And it's kind of like I think like horror mystery, but like satirical and funny. And it's set in Texas in 1999, and I think there's some sort of vampire involved, and these women try to save the people of the town. So, and I do like that, like saying in the South, like "bless your heart," because it can mean like 50,000 different things.
Yeah,
I just think it's really funny.
You're an idiot, or
yeah, bless your heart. But yeah, I'm excited for those.
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
It does.
My most anticipated for April is a play of Shadows by Sebastian de Castell. And this is like a spin-off of his Greatcoat series. It's kind of like a sequel, and it was supposed to come out, I think, like 2020 or 2021 or something. And I've been waiting for it for so long, so I'm so excited that it's finally here. And
Nice.
now, so Sebastian de Castell, he's a Canadian author, and he comes to like my local bookstore
Oh,
quite
cool.
often.
That's
So
fun.
now I can, and every time he comes, I'm always like, Play of Shadows? Like, what's the news on that? Because like publication, like editing and stuff, they just kept pushing it back for like various reasons. So now I can finally stop bugging him about it.
That's really nice. Is that all you have for April?
I also had The Familiar, and again, some other ones that okay, this
Some
one
random.
yeah, some random ones, I have no idea. Earth Flown by Francis Wren. This
Okay.
one looks like a queer sci-fi dystopian kind of story.
Nice.
It says it's a love story that tries and fails to leave the water crisis behind, set in near future post flood London. It takes a grounded approach to fantasy archetypes where futuristic medicine meets a bit of magic.
Cool.
I think this one is a debut as well. And another one for April is also A Letter to the Luminous Deep by Sylvie Cathrall. And I think this one is a fantasy romance. And it's also told in like epistolary format because it sounds like they're writing
Oh, okay.
letters to each other. So I'm like, always love like epistolary format books.
Nice. Yeah, they can be really fun. If they're done well, they can be really fun. I think for April, probably like legitimately the one I'm most excited about. I haven't looked up yet how to pronounce this, so I apologize in advance if I mess it up. But it's the prequel to Alotsoe by Darcy Little Badger, and it's like Shane Lende, maybe. I'm not Shieni Lende. But yeah, I'm very excited for that because I love Alotsoe so much. I want to reread that soon too. So maybe I'll read that one and then reread Alotsoe. But then another one that's coming out in April, supposedly, again, this is what I wrote down. Maybe it changed now. And this one is kind of like, I don't know. I don't sounds rude. I think like more basic, standard fantasy. It sounds like with dragons and stuff, but it sounds fun, hopefully. And I'm very much anticipating it because same kind of thing where I had on my list last year and maybe even the year before, and it kept getting pushed back. So I'm like, okay, I want to see if this book is fun or not. And that is The Dragon Rider by Taryn Matharu. And yeah, it's just the tale of dragons and the riders who bond with them, set against the brutal backdrop of an uprising against the Empire. So again, kind of more standard like fantasy dragons and like revolution or whatever, but hopefully it's fun. And I haven't been waiting forever for no reason. That happened last year with another like dragony one that I was like so excited for, and then I DNF'd. So
I know that one. I just had it on Dragonfall, right?
yes.
I had that one too. And then as soon as I saw like all the low like initial ratings, I was like, oh no.
Maybe not. Just kidding. Yeah.
What's that Dragon Rider one?
The Dragon Rider, and it's by Taran, Taran, Matharu, Matharu.
Oh.
There's some other
I've
series
heard
that
this
he
author
wrote.
before. Yeah, he did like middle grade stuff, right?
Yeah, I
Or
think
YA.
so. I've never read anything by him, so I'm like, I have no idea if I'm gonna vibe with this or not. Let's see. All right, so May is up next. I only have a couple for May. What do you got?
Me
Ingrid?
too.
Yeah.
I have two. I have When Among Crows by Veronica Roth, and I really enjoyed Divergent when we read it back in a long time ago. And this is a novella, but it's sci-fi / fantasy, and it's for some reason it reminded me of Nettle and Bone, but not because it sounds like a fairy tale, but because it's kind of like novella plus it's a little weird, like the description. But it just says, Pain is Dimitri's calling. To slay the monsters he's been raised to kill, he had to split his soul in half to make a sword from his spine. Every time he draws it, he gets blood on his hands. And then it's just sounds weird. Like I really don't really know what this is about, but I'm kind of interested. And also, I don't know how it's going to be because I feel like Veronica Roth has written other things, but like nothing as popular as Divergent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see if I actually like that.
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah. And then we have The Dangerous Ones by Lauren Blackwood. And it says it's a romantic historical fantasy set in the American Civil War with vampires and people with demigod-like abilities.
Wow.
So this one just sounds like something fun.
What is it called?
It's called The Dangerous Ones by Lauren Blackwood.
I'm like, I heard vampires and
Right.
I know, Chrissy, you're like me. Anything to do with vampires, I'm like, yep, add it onto my list.
oh, the dangerous ones. And demigod. I'm like, ooh.
I know. But yeah, those are the only
Yeah.
two I have for May.
Nice.
And
Nice,
there's
nice.
romantic elements too. Okay, I'm definitely adding
Yes.
this to my list. Wait, this author's name sounds familiar.
Yeah, it sounds like she's written something else too, but I don't know. I've never read it.
I think I might
yeah,
be
there's a
confusing
couple.
her with someone else because I don't recognize these other books.
Okay.
Okay, so I have 3 for May. That's the month that we're on, right? Okay.
Yeah.
The first one is My Darling Dreadful Thing by Joanna Van Veen. This one is another queer gothic horror. So there's clearly like a pattern here to the ones that are on my most anticipated. And this one sounds like, so the blurb says, in a world where the dead can wake and walk among us, what is truly real? It looks like it's about a girl who has like a spirit companion and yeah, just like dark and spooky things, it sounds like. And then another one is The Fireborn Blade by Charlotte Bond, another queer fantasy novella. And you guys have to look at this cover of
What's
this
it called?
book.
What is
Like,
it called?
The Fireborn Blade. Like, I didn't even need to know anything about it. As soon as I saw that cover,
Oh,
I'm just
yeah.
like, yep, I'm reading
that
that.
looks cool. That looks
Like,
cool.
woman with a sword on the cover, say no more.
Dragon behind her, or a painting of a dragon. I don't know, something, but it looks cool. Nice.
And another one is A Crane Among Wolves by June Her. She's the author that did Silence of Bones. I think that was her debut. And I loved that one. So really looking forward to this. And again, the cover all like instantly sold me.
You're like, yep.
Yeah, I think that's another thing. Like I just add things for the covers too.
They get you. Get you.
Yep.
I have a couple, but the one I'm really the most excited about or intrigued, it's another sci-fi, so it's like, and I think it's a novella, yes. So novella sci-fi, which could be a recipe for disaster for me, but Lost Ark Dreaming by Suyi Davies Okungbawa. It's a near-future cli-fi novella off the coast of West Africa, decades after the dangerous rise of the Atlantic Ocean. The region's survivors are crowded into the Fingers, 5 partially submerged kilometers-high towers, originally designed as a playground for the wealthy. Now the tower's most affluent rule from their perch on the topmost floors, while the rest are crammed into the dark, fetid floors that now lie below sea level. There are also those who are left behind for dead, only to be reawakened by an ancient power. They are Yamoja's children, and they seek retribution from those who offered them up to the waves. Down.
I see this one.
That does sound interesting.
Right?
I see this one has like a comp with Snowpiercer and River Solomon's The Deep.
Yes.
Those
Yep.
sound awesome.
Yeah. So I'm intrigued. Hope I like it. Again, the combination of novella and sci-fi is making me nervous, but I really liked Son of the Storm. I didn't like the sequel very much, but I really liked that one, and then another book of his that I read too. So hopefully this will work. Sounds very intriguing.
Like they can either be really good for you or really bad.
or just like, oh, sweet Lord. But we'll see.
Sweet Lord.
We'll see. All right, so last one is June, and then we're through half the year. So what do you have for June?
June's it's like my horror month. I'm guessing.
Wait,
because
sorry.
all these books
For
are like
May,
what?
I'm
Oh, you have
surprised
another
you
one?
guys didn't mention
What?
Evocation by S.T. Gibson.
Oh, I actually already read that one, so that's why I hadn't added it to my
Oh,
list.
okay.
I
that
didn't
one's on
add it
my
to my list
too.
because it just wasn't like I don't know, like the description didn't capture me as much as the other two.
I
But
liked
I probably
it, but it
will
is
end up reading
different.
it.
It's not as like gothic, eerie, atmospheric by any means. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That one's on my list because I saw something about deal with the devil, and I'm like,
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah, there is. There's like
Did you like it,
witches. I
Shoshana?
did. I liked it. Yeah. I wasn't like
Okay.
obsessed with it, but it was more so the character dynamics that they were just fun to watch like unfold. And I thought that like the character development was done well. So yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Yeah. Go ahead for June.
I was saying June is like more horror books than anything
Mhm.
else, and a thriller. So first up, we have Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, and I'm adding this here because I quite enjoy Riley Sager's books. Like I've read, I think everything he's ever written. And this one is a little bit different because usually his main characters are women, and that is part of the criticism he always gets that some women feel like he doesn't write women well.
Hmm.
I've never had an issue with it. Like I read it, it's fine. Um, but this one is his first book where the main character is a man.
Okay.
So I know nothing else about it. It just sounds like it's a man um, that his best friend disappeared when they were little, and now he's back in the neighborhood, like to figure out what happened. So I'm quite intrigued by that one. I wonder if it's going to be any different or like it's just going to feel like his other books. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I have Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. This is definitely a horror book. It's set in 1993, and it sounds like it's kind of like those books that have like that nostalgia of horror films. Like if you like horror, you know what I mean? Which I do, so I'm excited for this one. I don't have a lot of luck with Paul Tremblay. I've read like 3 of his books and I liked only one. Um, the other 2 books I read of his, I was like not a fan of. But it's one of those books that you read and you're like, I don't love this, but I can see why people do. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
his books are quite like popular. Um, but yeah, this one sounds interesting. I hope I like it.
Which is the one
And
that you
then
liked?
it's the ghost one. What is it called?
Oh, Head Full
Ghost
of Ghosts?
something. Yes, I love that one. Head Full of Ghosts. That
I
one was my
haven't read
favorite.
any of
I
his
did
books,
not.
but that one sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's scary too. I also read The Pallbearers Club, which was horrible, and I also read The Cabin at the End of the World, and that was the one that I like didn't love, but I can see why people like it, and I think they made a movie out of that one too.
Mm, nice.
And then one more book is called The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. And this one, it says it's a feminist psychological horror about the making of a female serial killer from a Korean American perspective. And I
Mm.
like the cover. There's an eyeball on the cover, and I'm like, sold. I'm sold.
I
But that one,
love that title. It sounds so disgusting.
Why does that
But
yeah.
name, that author's name sounds familiar? Is maybe I'm just crazy.
I think this is her debut. There's something else on there, and she doesn't look familiar, but who knows?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything. You might know her from somewhere. Are you confusing her with Monica, like the other booktuber, maybe?
oh,
Maybe.
she might be Monica or something. I think
I
that was
think
her
her name
old
is
name.
Monica.
I have no idea. I haven't been on Twitter in a long time. It was just someone that I would see on Twitter sometimes, like here and there,
Oh,
like
maybe not.
people quote tweeting and stuff. Maybe it was this author.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
The
because
name
you
sounded
know
familiar
how
to me.
authors have to really have like a strong social media presence.
That's true.
Well, fun. Yeah, you
But
got
I
all
am
the horror
adding
stuff.
this one for sure.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting, and the cover is like, I mean, it just looks gory and up my alley.
I am always about stories about female rage and empowerment and just
I know it's
know.
it's really fun, isn't it?
It's just like you pop off, queen, do whatever you want. Like, sorry, kind of off topic, but there's this other book that I read before. I won't say what the book is, so like, because I'm gonna like spoil the ending a little bit, but it's about a woman who gets possessed, and then at the end, the spirit that possessed her kills her husband, and I'm like, good riddance. Sorry. I'm
Christy's
not
out for
saying this title.
Mhm.
I only have one book for June, and that
Mhm.
is Of Jade and Dragons by Amber Chen. So again, like another um Asian inspired fantasy, and the art for this one is again just so pretty. I love like this style that like Asian fantasies have been using for their covers. It's just so
Yeah.
vibrant and
Really cool.
captures like the aesthetic so well. This
It
one's a
would
YA with dragons, and the plot sounds like pretty typical YA about like a girl whose like father is killed, and then she has to like go find
Yeah.
who like killed him and stuff. But I'm like, I'm always down to read like more Asian inspired fantasy.
Fun. Cool. I actually don't have any for June. Again, unless something I had moved to June. But yeah, what I wrote down, I don't have a single one for June. So that's
Mhm.
all I got. That is all I got.
I have one more for June then.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. This is kind of like you said earlier. It's like not actually on my list, but I'm gonna watch for it when it comes out.
Yeah.
It's called Love Letters to a Serial Killer by Tasha Coriel.
Ooh.
And it just says, when a handsome lawyer, Wesley, is arrested for a series of murders, recently ghosted 30-something Hannah begins writing him letters as an outlet for both her frustration at her failure to launch and her feminist rage. So I was like, ooh, this sounds fun.
Nice.
But I don't really know what to expect of this one. I think it's kind of like just a thriller / fiction, but
Yeah.
I really like the cover too.
Nice.
It's like those ransom letters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what it looks like. Nice. That's fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's all I got. Unless you guys had any other ones you wanted to toss in and mention.
I'll go through my list, see what else is there. 'Cause I think there's like a few that I haven't mentioned.
Mhm.
I'm trying to keep up on mine this year with like the ones I've requested from NetGalley, and I'm doing very good so far. So I hope to continue with that.
So
So-
there's this book. I don't know when it's going to be released, but this is 2025. Never mind. What?
Just kidding.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Okay.
funny.
Another one is I can't. Don't let the. Oh no! Oh my God! What is wrong with Goodreads? It's not sorting properly by date because I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, no, this one's August. Sorry, October. Never mind.
Just kidding again.
Okay, hopefully third time's the charm. Just going through my list. So there's Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan, which again, Asian inspired fantasy with like one of those like beautiful illustrated covers. I haven't heard the best initial reviews, unfortunately, but this one just looks so pretty. It's like a modern, myth-inflected story of revolution and magic set against the glittering, semi-submerged city of I don't know how to pronounce this. But it says perfect for fans of Jade City and the Bone Shard Daughter. And then when I read that, I was just like, that is such an interesting comp because those two are so different from each other.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're just saying that because they're all Asian fantasy.
Yeah, like what's the comparison here? Why are we comping them to this? Yeah.
I haven't read either of those series yet, and I'm like, I meant to already, especially Jade City because I have it, but I'm like,
good.
I DNF'd
Sounds
the Bone Shard
interesting.
Daughter series, but
You did?
yeah. Well, I read the first book and then I DNF'd the second book very soon.
I only read the first two. I don't know if I want to keep reading the third one, to be honest.
Yeah,
I just
I
heard
haven't
it
heard
ended kind of like lackluster.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Which is fine with me because I don't even like the first one all that much anyway. Well, cool.
Another one?
Oh, you got another one?
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Another one one last one for Feb that already came out. Oh, no, actually didn't come out yet because it's February 20th, so literally
Ooh,
coming out tomorrow.
Nice.
Mhm.
The Crimson Moth by Kristen Ciccarelli. And
Ooh.
this one is it's a YA, but it says enemies to lovers doesn't get more high stakes than a witch and a witch hunter falling in love.
Ah,
Hmm,
okay.
And I'm like,
that
Witch,
does
witch
sound
hunter trope.
fun.
you, you got me. Just by that blurb.
I'm sold. Sold, sold. Cool, cool. Well, thanks for hanging out, guys, to chat. Obviously, everyone can let us know in the comments if you had any of these on your list. If not, did you add them to your list as we were doing through the video? Or what are some others that you might want to share? Let us know in the comments. And that'll be all for us for now. So thank you so much. Everyone have a lovely day.